Remember when Rigathi said this?
Jumatano, shike bibi yangu mkono, niingie ndege, niende Amerikani kusurura huko. Niende nikasurura huko, si ndio? Kakae na wazungu na Waafrika, nikae huko. Na nitakaa kwa muda. Kwa hivyo mchunge nyumbani. I'll stay for a while. Na iko sababu. Iko mambo mimi napanga. Haiwezi pangiwa hapa. Inaenda Weruta League. Neguo. Weruta League. Nikiwa hapa iko influence mingi. Kagusha niambia hii Medhu nasema hii huyu ananivuruta huko nini, nataka to make some decisions without undue influence kwa ile watu ninatembea na hawa.
Now guess what? President Ruto is now forcing himself to also go to America in the same month of September. The exact same month that Gachagua will also be in the US. And because of that, we're now having people like Moses Kuria spreading this narrative. Roll the tape.
Let me ask you a question. My good friend Rigathi is preparing to go for an overseas trip. Where?
US.
Which month?
September.
The president will be there in September.
What's your point?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
In case anyone didn't catch on, Moses Kuria is hinting that Gachagua and Ruto have planned a private meeting in America this coming September. Now my take on the matter is that that's a total lie. I don't see the two meeting. But for the sake of this video, assuming the meeting actually does happen, because in politics you can never say never, these would be some of the reasons why the same meeting would be happening. And with no further ado, let's get after it. Number 1, let me read for you this short story just to give you context. And I quote, "For 4 years, Robert E. Lee had become the Confederacy's most celebrated military commander." If you don't know him, he should be to your left right now. He had repeatedly defeated Union forces. He had an army that had become legendary in the South and was arguably the single most important military figure keeping the Confederacy alive. But by April 1865, the situation was collapsing. Richmond had fallen. Lee's army of Northern Virginia was retreating westward, desperately trying to escape the Union as armies closed in around it. His men were exhausted, hungry and increasingly surrounded, mostly because the Union cavalry had blocked his route at Appomattox Courthouse. Lee had essentially reached the end of the road. So to save his life and that of his men, Lee didn't wait to be captured. He initiated contact with Ulysses S. Grant, who should be on your right part of the screen, by sending a letter which asked about the possibility of surrendering his army. Grant replied that he would meet Lee and discuss it, and the two men eventually met in the parlor of Wilma McLean's house. Lee arrived wearing his finest uniform. Grant arrived in a mud-spattered field uniform after days of riding hard to reach the meeting. For roughly 25 minutes, they actually talked about their experiences in the Mexican-American War before getting down to business. And then Lee essentially said, "Let's discuss the surrender." And they did. Lee surrendered to Mr. Ulysses. His army was handed over, stripped of their weapons and their uniforms and their ranks, and they were allowed to assimilate back into society. Now the moral of the story is this, that in the same way that General Robert E. Lee sensed defeat and surrendered to Ulysses Grant, Ruto is also sensing his own defeat and has decided to craft his own surrender to Rigathi Gachagua in the opposition. I mean, you can call Ruto many things, but the one thing he is not is a fool. He has access to independent pollsters. He has access to NIS's own private polling, which is illegal because they're using taxpayer money, but so be it. They have given him access to some data, which is credible. He's been on the ground and seen exactly what's happening. Moso Olkalau. Spending money has been his way to win elections. He spent in the church in 2022. He's trying to do empowerment in 2027 and bribe the electorate. They have rejected it. Olkalau showed him as much. So reality has sunk in. I am going home. Unless there is a way I can meaningfully steal these elections, or in which case, inchi itachomeka. So let me also start planning a surrender. Hence, the meeting between Ruto and Gachagua in America. What are some of the things that Ruto will be discussing or negotiating in this meeting? Number 1, a surety is that Ruto himself, Murkomen, and Raymond Omolo will not be pursued for their gross violation of the constitution long after they've handed over power and left office. This election, believe you me, it's do or die. The moment Methu becomes CS of Interior, what becomes of Raymond Omolo? What becomes of Murkomen? What becomes of Mr. Kipchirchir? Si itakuwa ukitoa tu kichwa nje ya gari, tear gas. Ukijaribu kuangalia huku na huko, umewekwa pingu. So they are trying to negotiate an easy retirement. The other thing they'll be looking for is assurities that the EACC and our asset recovery units will not be pursuing them to recover the things they stole from us. Because Otherwise the last 5 years for them will be useless. Wamekulia SHA, wamekulia high speed cameras za highway, wamekulia hii uniform ya police wanaenda kubadilisha kesho, wamekulia education system, and then after all is said and done, hizo mishipi za Murkomen za 1 million zinaenda, saa ya sijui 2 million imeenda, sijui nini imeenda. They want to hold on to those things. They'd better lose power, but not the things they have amassed for themselves here on this earth. To which end, if that is the discussion point in this meeting, I believe Gachagua ni mtu anaelewa geography. He knows where to find and locate his middle finger, and he should find it and wave it to the president, if those are the things the president will be asking in that meeting. Opposition ikichukua serikali, wengi ya watu wanafaa washikwe, wafanyiwe uchunguzi ya watu wote waliuliwa. All police officers who took those illegal orders, ndani. All illegally acquired wealth iregeshwe kwa wananchi. The affordable housing scam imalizwe. You know, Ruto says watu ni wajinga wakisema ati watasimamisha housing. Housing was not a bad thing. Yeye ndo amefanya ikuwe mbaya and nonsensical. None of us would be complaining if all this housing would be happening in Kibera, where we have the 3rd largest slum in the world. Yeye anaenda kufanya housing sijui Garissa, housing sijui huko Nyeri, mahali watu hawana haja na hizo vitu. Long story short, I'm even deviating from the point here. Mambo ya kudiscuss surrender, it is welcome, but there should be conditions. Ruto and Murkomen and Raymond Omolo should publicly apologize to the people of Kenya via video, si kuandika barua, via video. I am sorry for stealing this and that, for doing this and that. Ile nilichukua nitarudisha, allow me to go retire in peace, then we will think about it as Kenyans. Tutafanya referendum tuamue. Hiyo hata si kazi ya Gachagua. But anyway, at the end of the day, guys, that's just my opinion. Do drop me your comments in the comment section below and I'll do best to read them and to give a response. So with that, here's today's ad of the day. Interior design is one of those things you can't afford to get wrong. So if you're looking for experts to do your gypsum, wainscoting, paintwork, tiles, washrooms, and kitchen, reach out to Dhaka Living on 0706 026 218. That's 0706 026 218. And if you're here for the first time, please go on and hit the subscribe button. And if you're watching for a different platform, just head on over to YouTube, search for Mzitowafula. Hit the subscribe button. You're going to be getting a ton of content of this nature. If politics is something you're passionate about, this is definitely the one channel that you really, really need to subscribe to. All right, guys, adios. Thank you for choosing Mzitowafula as your primary news platform. We put countless hours in research, recording, and editing. By showing up each and every day to watch our videos, you encourage us to generate more videos for the viewers. We are on a mission to inform, educate, and build a better tomorrow. To our thousands of followers in a world full of presidents, kings, and queens, you are the real gem. Adios.